Human as a species in Ibn Arabi's mystical view is in an intermediate point between al-Haq and the cosmos, holding the highest position in the hierarchy of created beings. In other words, on the cosmic level, overall, the human being represents the perfect human. Every human is expected to embody the comprehensiveness because it is inherent to the nature of the human species. There are no exceptions to this ontological comprehensiveness. In essence, there is no ontological difference between one person and another. While all individuals are naturally endowed with the same ontological comprehensiveness, differences arise based on the degree of clarity in the minds of those who become aware of this fact. Quote, "This being, it as the comprehensive being, is called human and also a vicegerent. As for his humanness, it derives from his comprehensive structure and is comprising of all the realities, because the human being relates to al-Haq as the pupil relates to the eye. Thus he is called insan, meaning both man and pupil, for it is by him that al-Haq looks on his creation and bestows the mercy of existence on them." Hi, I'm Angga Rifka. In this episode, we are going to talk about Ibn Arabi's perspective on the perfect human on the individual level. If you like this video, please share and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. You can also help me out monetarily, be it PayPal or Patreon, but no pressure to do that. We have noted that the small cosmos, it as the human being, is the mirror in which God sees his reflection, because the human being serves as a polished and immaculate mirror, while the big human, it as the cosmos, lacks clear boundaries and a definitive structure, as it consists of a loose collection of certain points which can be compared to a clouded mirror. Quote, "Al-Haq brought the whole cosmos into existence, an existence of an indistinct shape without a spirit in it, and it was like an unpolished mirror. The situation naturally demanded the polishing up of the mirror of the cosmos, and Adam, it as the reality of human being, was created to be the very polishing of that mirror and the very spirit of that form." Once we shift our focus to human as individual, it becomes evident that there are diverse degrees among humans. In simpler terms, not all individuals possess an equal awareness of the comprehensiveness within themselves. In essence, not all humans on the individual level can be considered perfect. Only a select few merit the title of the perfect human, exhibiting varying levels of awareness regarding their comprehensiveness. This awareness ranges from the utmost luminosity, closely resembling the divine consciousness of the names and attributes, to the lowest level, akin to complete obscurity. The role of a polished mirror is reserved for the human mind only at the highest degree of luminosity. At this pinnacle of awareness, an individual can truly embody the essence of the perfect human. In Fusus, Ibn Arabi conveys the idea that God has brought to light the various degrees of the sons of Adam in Adam, emphasizing the existence of different levels within the same human species. Ibn Arabi elucidates the reason behind the existence of these degrees among individual humans using the metaphor of colored glass. Quote, "Al-Haq in relation to a specific shadow, may it be small or big, pure or purest, is like a light in relation to a glass that comes between the light and the beholder. The light takes the color of the glass, while at the same time it has no color. In this manner, you are made to see al-Haq through giving you similes of your reality which proceeds from your Lord. If you say the light is green because of the greenness of the glass, you are right, as your sense of sight bears witness. And if you say the light is not green and has no color because you use a logical proof, you are right, as your witness is based on sound, rational speculation. See how the light passes through a shadow which is no other than the glass. The glass is a shadow, but it is a shadow which is of the nature of light because of its transparency. Likewise, regarding whoever among us who assumes his reality through al-haq, the form of al-haq appears in him more intensively than it appears in others. Al-haq becomes the hearing, the sight, and all the faculties and organs of some among us through signs which religion conveys about al-haq. Despite this, the essence of the shadow exists, for the pronoun his in his hearing refers back to al-haq as a shadow, and other servants of God do not gain such a position. The relationship of such a servant to the existence of al-haq is closer than the relationship of other servants to this existence. Similar to how a single light takes on different colors when passing through pieces of colored glass, the manifestation of al-haq is uniquely expressed in different individuals with distinct capacities. When a person has fully realized al-haq within himself, the existence of that person becomes entirely infused with his presence. In such a state, each part of his body becomes a self-manifestation of al-haq. However, when the folk of God gain knowledge through immediate testing, that same knowledge undergoes diverse manifestations based on the capacities of their respective organs and faculties. Quote, know that all mystical knowledges which the folk of God experience are different by virtue of the difference of the faculties from which these experiences derive, although they go back to one essence. That is because God says, I have been his hearing by which he hears, his seeing by which he sees, his hand by which he seizes, and his foot by which he walks. God points out that his he-ness is the essence of the human being's organs, which is the essence of the servant. However, the essence is one while the organs are many. Each organ possesses special knowledge by immediate testing, which is peculiar to that organ. Each knowledge originates in one essence, but differs in accordance with a specific organ. Ibn Arabi is talking about the modulation of a singular intuitive cognition within an individual through various bodily members. His focus is not on variations in intuition among different folk of God, but rather on how a single knowledge originating from one source undergoes different expressions in one person based on the specific faculty employed. If such distinctions exist within an individual, it naturally follows that even greater differences would arise among different individuals. The differentiation in knowledges obtained through immediate testing is attributed to the diversity in natural capacities or preparedness among the folk of God, as they do not share a uniform level of spiritual development. This diversity results in distinct testing experiences and the corresponding knowledge. Despite the multitude of knowledges, they all trace back to a singular source, the he-ness of al-haq. Ibn Arabi illustrates this phenomenon by drawing an analogy with water, which despite its inherent oneness can have different tastes. Just as different faculties within one individual yield diverse knowledges, the various tastes of water symbolize the multitude of experiences and immediate testings stemming from the unified reality of al-haq. Quote, this is like water, which possesses one essence but differs in taste according to its place. Some water is sweet and fresh, and some is salty and bitter. However, it is water in all its states, and its essence does not change, even if its tastes vary. Given this understanding, it is natural to see the emergence of various degrees among individuals concerning their capacity to comprehend God and to apprehend the veil of Wujud. According to Ibn Arabi, the highest rank is attained by an individual who wholeheartedly engages in the practice of remembrance or dhikr. The true significance of human existence in Ibn Arabi's eye is comprehended by those who engage in the profound act of remembering God. not merely through the verbal expressions and heart, but by achieving internal unity with the presence of al-Haq. Quote, that is because only the one who remembers God, a remembrance required of him, knows the value of this human formation, for God is the companion of the one who remembers him, and the one who remembers witnesses the existence of the companion. When the one who remembers does not witness al-Haq, who is his companion, he does not remember, for the remembrance of God permeates the whole structure of the servant, not only his tongue by which he remembers him. That is because in this time, al-Haq will be specifically the companion only of the tongue, and the tongue will see him through that which it sees, not through that which the human beings see him. That is the sense of sight. Understand this mystery regarding the remembrance of the neglectful. For the part of the neglectful person which remembers God is present with God, and the remembered is his companion because he sees him. The neglectful person with respect to his negligence does not remember, hence God is not the companion of the neglectful person. To reiterate, remembrance or dhikr goes beyond the mere act of remembering God with one's tongue and heart. In this context, it is synonymous with mystical self-annihilation in God. Dhikr in this profound sense represents a spiritual state where a mystic directs all bodily and spiritual faculties towards God to the extent that his entire existence becomes completely unified with God's presence. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that the perfection of the remembrance of God must extend to all bodily members. Put differently, when one part of an individual's bodily member engages in the remembrance of God, it doesn't imply that other parts are included. According to Ibn Arabi, the ideal state is when every part of an individual's being is involved in the remembrance of God. Ibn Arabi maintains, quote, the human being is composed of many parts and his essence is not one. Well, the essence of al-Haq is one, but he is many through his names, just as the human being is many through his parts, and the remembrance derived from one part does not necessarily entail the remembrance of another part. Thus, al-Haq is the companion of the remembering part, while other parts are described as neglectful of remembering. When a Sufi reaches a heightened awareness fully saturated with the acts of remembrance, the distinction between the subject focusing the mind and the object upon which the mind is focused naturally dissolves. The conventional form of dhikr, which involves remembering al-Haq only with tongue or mind or heart without a complete existential immersion, represents a lower level of dhikr experience. In the dhikr experience of the highest rank of the Sufi, the natural perfection of human is fully actualized, placing the individual in a position in the world superior to that of other creatures, including angels. While all creatures indeed manifest the glory of God to varying degrees through their dhikr, it is only in the human being that this experience can be elevated to the level of essential unity with al-Haq, due to the fact that the dhikr experience of the human being can dissolve the duality of the subject-object. We have noted that due to the synthesis and complete comprehensiveness, the rank of human being surpasses even that of angels. This is not only in ontological level but also experiential level. There is a community of angels called Eliyun, or the Exalted, who were not commanded by God to prostrate before Adam. The reason is that those Eliyun were not aware of the fact that God created other creatures besides themselves. They only knew that there were only themselves and God. Thus, when God commanded all angels, including Iblis, to prostrate before Adam, and when Iblis didn't do it, God said, O Iblis, what has prevented thee from prostrating unto that which I created with my two hands? Dost thou wax arrogant, or art thou among the exalted? The content of those Eliyun's awareness is so high that they only realized that there were only themselves and God. But actually their awareness still contains duality, they as the subject and God as the object. This awareness is no higher than the awareness that God bestows to the human being, with which the human being can transcend such duality, so that he can realize the essential unity of the single reality. Therefore, the perfect human is one who experiences the reality where there is no longer the duality of subject and object, immediately testing that there is no God but God. Thank you so much for watching. See you in another video.